What is up, everybody? Kent sent this in to me. This is going to be his first full riding season, and he accidentally pulls in too much front brake when this vehicle applies their brakes and then drops the bike and then causing a crash for himself. So it's a single vehicle accident. It's not going to be with the other vehicle, but we're going to go over what happened and how we can use that information for ourselves. If you would like to know what to do after a motorcycle crash and possibly save somebody's life, make sure you go to accidentscene.org and sign up for their online class. This is a great opportunity and a great way for you to learn what to do, how to do it, and then possibly save somebody's life. So we got right here multiple vehicles, and then we have this sign. So this is going to be a good indication that there's possibly going to be another hazard involved, which is going to be pedestrians. So this is going to be a pedestrian crossing. So just like intersections for cars, you're going to have people want to jut out or do something kind of dumb. I think we all know that pedestrians don't even look anymore. They don't look left, right, left, or anything like that. They just cross the road. So that's going to cause other vehicles on the road to apply the brakes and stop as quick as they possibly can. So what I like to do when it comes to any intersections, that's typically where the pedestrians will walk, is in crosswalks with other vehicles. What I like to do, though, in this situation is that when you have a sign like this, I'm going to get ready for that. I'm just going to get kind of prepared, and I'm going to increase my space cushion if I absolutely have to, and I'm starting to pick out my escape route. So if I have to, I'll lane filter to the left or lane filter to the right if I can't stop in time. Or I'll just kind of keep an eye on, like, is that guy going to stick his leg out? Because just like the cars where you can see the tires rotate and indicate that they're going to start going, you can also indicate with pedestrians when they start sticking that leg out into the street and they're going to start walking. That's going to be your clue. Hey, I should stop. I should slow down. So what we're going to have coming up here is that you're going to see some brake lights applied to this vehicle up front. So there's the brake lights. So this is when we start to think to ourselves, okay, he's applying the brakes. Why? Because there's a vehicle in front of him. They're not applying the brakes. They're not slowing down, but they probably see something themselves. And what I can see right here is that there's a bicyclist crossing the road, and the car in front of this car that's applying the brakes is already out of that hazard. I consider pedestrians hazards, so that car's out of that hazard, gone. They don't need to apply the brakes. This person right here needs to apply the brakes, and then that's going to give us an indication, hey, we should start slowing down, we should start applying the brakes. In the original video, you start hearing the tires starting to slide and squeal. That's his rear tire sliding. So Kent, you did mention in the bio of your video that you wanted to kind of know what's going on. When you apply that rear brake and you press it down way too hard with no ABS or anything like that, right away you're going to have that rear tire lock up, and then it's going to slide. It's not going to have the traction it needs to stop, so your back end's going to probably start sliding out, and I think that might have what happened to you. And then when you have your front brake, you need to start applying progressive brake pressure. So just like squeezing an orange, you want to get some orange juice out, you start squeeze, 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 instead of just grabbing it and smashing it, and you're going to get orange juice everywhere. So progressive brake pressure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you can do it fast, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can do it fast, you just have to do it in each step like that, okay? So progressive brake pressure. So when we get up to this point, he's going to start now recognizing. That is when he recognizes, oh crap, something happened. So he did his search, so he's searching around, he's doing his evaluation, and he evaluated that this car is going to be a hazard in front of him, and his version of execution is going to be applying the brakes and trying to stop in time. It's going to work, he's not going to hit the other vehicle, but what's going to happen is that he's going to dump it by grabbing way too much front brake, which is going to cause that front tire, just like the rear tire, to lock up and seize. But that is your directional, that is your steering wheel right there. So basically what's happening is that when it locks up, it turns a little bit and it will wash out from underneath you. It does need traction to continue to go, so your tire needs to rotate in order to turn left or right. When it locks up, it's not going to brake very well, so it needs to slowly, gradually stop and decelerate, and it's going to grab that road. It's going to be mechanical traction when you're putting more and more weight to that front tire. That is what the progressive brake pressure does, is put more and more weight to that front tire, and then more and more you squeeze, the more and more it's going to grab the ground. So there's that original hazard of that pedestrian. It seems like he stopped because he got scared. He did his own version of search, evaluate, execute. Stopped because the vehicle just barely slammed the brakes so that the guy can make it, but it's not going to help us out with the motorcycle rider. So there's going to be the front brake grab, and it's going to drop him because the rear brake wasn't stopping him in time, so he went to grab that front brake. So you do have an escape path. So you have an escape path to the right or deceleration. So we tried the deceleration right now by applying way too much brake pressure too quickly, which is going to cause us to drop. The other, like I said, the other escape path is to the right. Good possibility of hitting the motor or the bicyclist. That can cause some issues just as much as hitting another vehicle. So what we need to do is when we start applying the brake pressure and we start to recognize what's happening, you need to start applying it and straighten up the bike, especially in this turn, but start applying it progressively. So you can apply a lot of the brakes in the rear, start applying the brakes in the front, and then when you feel that weight transfer to the front, you can apply more and more and more and more brake pressure, and you'll be able to stop in time. I do have a video on the DDFMcrew.com website that talks about emergency braking and swerving, because swerving is also an evasive maneuver. So if you swerved out of the way of the vehicle and then you're able to apply the brakes, that could be an option. Or you can just apply the brakes, stand up the bike, apply the brakes. So hopefully you're doing okay, man. That looks like it's very painful, but guys, you need to start practicing your brake pressure. You need to start practicing your swerving, because at the end of the day, it's very easy to go straight. It's easy to go forward. It's easy to go fast and accelerate. What a lot of people are having problems with is deceleration and swerving. Those are emergency skills that we need to have, or we're not going to do very well when it comes to anything that pops up. So once again, guys, you need to be search, evaluate, execute. You need to look for these hazards. And then on top of that, you need to have the skills to actually evade or execute an evasive maneuver. Okay. What is up, everybody? Got my dad hat on, but we're going to be talking about this motorcycle rider crossing an obstacle in the middle of a turn, doing a great job. There it is. Boom. We're going to go over how you can do that yourself so that if something like this happens, you know exactly what to do. So we're going to do a what if scenario in this situation. What's happening here is going to be in the middle of a turn, and there's going to be